The night stretched wide like an endless ocean of ink, flecked with glittering stars that blinked like ancient eyes watching silently from the heavens. On the summit of the tallest mountain, where the air thinned and the world fell away beneath her feet, she stood alone. Her presence was quiet but undeniable, a figure carved from shadows and light. The crown upon her head, adorned with yellow stones, pulsed with an ethereal glow, faint at first, then growing steadily until stones burned softly like captured suns. That crown was no mere ornament. It was a relic of forgotten age, forged from magic and memory, passed down through generations whose names had long been lost to time. The golden stones hummed with power, alive with the voices of ancestors and the heartbeat of the earth itself. She could feel their warmth seep into her skin, settle into her bones, and kindle a flame deep within her soul. Around her, the wind began to stir, gentle at first, teasing tendrils of cool air that played with the strands of her midnight black hair. It lifted and tossed them, a dark river flowing freely into the vast night. The breeze whispered secrets, secrets older than mountains, carried from faraway lands and distant stars. The wild flowers at her feet swayed, as if awakened by the breath of the air. Their petals trembled, loosening from the stems, and began to float upward, drifting like soft embers caught in an invisible current, glowing faintly under the starlight. Before her, coiled atop a vast outcrop of granite, lay the last of his kind, the dragon. His scales shimmered silver, each one catching the pale light and fracturing it like a prism. He was a monument of myth and memory, a being of immense power held in delicate balance. His wings were folded tightly against his body, vast and powerful, like the sails of an ancient ship long docked in a forgotten harbor. His breathing was slow and measured, warm mist rising gently from his nostrils. His eyes remained closed, yet she knew he was aware of her presence. There was a pulse, a subtle energy flowing between them, binding them in a bond unspoken but unbreakable. She took a slow, deliberate breath, tasting the crisp night air tinged with pine and distant rain. Her heart beat steady, each thumb a drum of resilience, of hope. And then she lowered her head. There was no hesitation in her movement, only reverence. She bent forward, the hem of her dark gown whispering across the stones beneath her feet, and pressed her lips gently to the top of the dragon's head. It was a kiss filled not with command or control, but with compassion and promise, a silent vow forged in the quiet spaces between flame and shadow. The dragon's chest rumbled in response, a deep, resonant sound like distant thunder, echoing to the mountains and deep into the earth. His eyelids fluttered open, revealing eyes like molten amber, ancient and endless. When his gaze met hers, it was a gaze that held the weight of centuries, the wisdom of countless lifetimes. It was a gaze that said, "I remember." Around them, the wind grew stronger. It spiraled upward in a wild dance, catching her hair and lifting it like a banner in the night. It swept through the flowers below, lifting the floating petals higher still until they seemed to dissolve into the golden sparkles blossoming across the star-studded sky. The heavens themselves appeared to lean closer, shining brighter, as if in celebration of this sacred reunion. She straightened, her figure regal and unyielding. The stones in her crown blazed with renewed vigor, illuminating the night with their warm golden light. Her dark eyes, deep pools reflecting the cosmos, held a fierce yet calm power, not born of rage or conquest, but from profound love. Love for a world that had forgotten magic, love for a creature thought lost to time, and most of all, love for herself. Together, queen and dragon rose. His mighty wings unfolded slowly, spanning wide like the sails of a celestial vessel, stirring the mountain into a low, trembling roar that resonated deep into the land. The earth responded. Magic long dormant stirred beneath rocks and soil. Ancient spells breathed back into life, and the hidden veins of power that ran to the world began to pulse again. From above, golden sparkles rained down like silent stardust, soft and shimmering. They touched the earth lightly, awakening sleeping dragons in distant hills, coaxing the forests and rivers back into the song of life. Magic, once thought lost myth, was alive again, and it sang with the voice of 1,000 forgotten legends. As they took flight, she felt centuries of burden lift from her shoulders, replaced by the boundless freedom of the open sky. Her hair streamed behind her like a river of shadow and light, her crown a radiant halo against the cosmos. Below, the flowers floated gently on the wind, drifting like prayers scattered to the stars. In that timeless moment, there was no loneliness, no sorrow, only the wild, breathtaking beauty of power tempered by grace, the profound truth that embracing the shadow within can lead one to the brightest light. The wind carried a secret, a whisper older than time itself, meant only for those who truly listen. True power is not found in fury or fear, but in love and connection, not in destruction, but in creation and peace. And so, the Queen and the Dragon's Sword, eternal and unbroken, a living legend woven from light and shadow, a story sung by the stars and carried forever on the breath of the wind.